So one of the things we said yesterday, which apparently is proven wrong less than 24 hours later, is that they signed Anzalone because they were afraid, because they fall in love with their own guys. But then they go out and get running back David Montgomery, and they're going to let Jamal Williams walk, which is some evidence that perhaps they don't fall in love with their own guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they fall in love with their own guys or not. I think to an extent they do, but when you look at what happened with Campbell, Montgomery, the running back,
yep.
He's younger. He's a younger version of Jamal Williams. They have very similar statistics, except Montgomery's been more of a receiver out of the backfield early on in his career, and he's run behind a below-average offensive line. So I don't have any issue with this. And when I first saw that, I was like, wow, okay. So that means no Jamal. The money they would have spent on him is spent on David Montgomery, and Montgomery, I think, is a slight upgrade. I don't think he's a major upgrade, but I think he's a slight upgrade. The interesting part is it's a 3-year deal. But, contracts are made to be broken, as we know. So you look at this, and it's, what do you got, really, 2 years, if you want to look at that? And then an option for a third is what all contracts seem to be if they're 3-year deals. He's played 4 years in his career. Jamal's played 6. So the difference is 2 years. Okay, I'm fine with it. I have no issue with this at all.
David Montgomery has a different skill set and one that I think is going to flourish behind this offensive line. David Montgomery coming out of Iowa State had an abundance of wiggle. He can make you miss in the hole in a way that Jamal Williams couldn't. He did it in Chicago, and he had to do it in Chicago all the time. If there's an unblocked defender and it's up to the running back to make him miss, he's very good at making him miss. He runs with power. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's now going to be running behind a better offensive line. I think this is a significant upgrade at the running back position. Now, there is a skill set that Jamal Williams brought to the table that is a legitimate one that's hard to measure until you know that you don't have it, and that is the ability to get first downs on 3rd and 1, to get into the end zone on 4th and 1. He was a great short yardage back. He also got over 1,000 yards, but his strength was getting those tough yards between the tackles in short yardage situations. We'll see how Montgomery is or whether or not they have a plan B for that, but I love Montgomery's wiggle and his ability to make defenders miss, and I think running behind, because his stats, Montgomery's stats, they don't wow me. And I, got a chance to go back and watch some of his film in Chicago, and nobody's going to remember this, but 4 years ago out of Iowa State, I was hoping that the Lions would take him. I think this guy could explode behind this offensive line. It's an upgrade in terms of what he is going to be running behind. I think this is a great signing by Detroit. And look, Jamal Williams is going to be missed. That not only in the short yardage way, because he had 17 rushing touchdowns, but he was a leader. He had buy-in. He was a culture guy. But everything I read about Montgomery from Chicago insiders is that he loves the game and he works hard, and he will also be a good culture guy. My concern is he's very close to that dangerous 1,000 carry mark where backs take a step back. But here's another thing. And part of the reason is he's been durable. He hasn't missed games. He's kind of the opposite of DeAndre Swift. He stays healthy. So I personally love this.
Yeah, I give him a little more grace period than you do when it comes to the 1,000 carry thing. I look at maybe a couple hundred more carries for that before I start to get nervous. But what he's done in 4 years, his stats are equal to what Jamal Williams has done in 6 years. Now, Jamal wasn't starting right away when he was in Green Bay and hardly started at all, in fact. But it's just, you look at it, and it's 4,800 yards from scrimmage, basically. Both of those guys have the same numbers from scrimmage. Well, he's done it in 2 less years behind a much worse offensive line. I just expected there would be not much of a drop-off in production. I don't know if I expect 17 touchdowns, but can I expect 1,000 yards? Sure. Or at least can I expect a total between what Montgomery and Swift will do that's going to be similar to what Swift and Williams did. And I think absolutely, and maybe even more so because Montgomery is younger. But I do remember when he was in college, this was a guy you identified. You liked him a lot.
Yeah. Do you have Montgomery stats in front of you right now by chance?
I think I might.
Because his yards per carry is nothing impressive. I can look it up as easily as you can.
No, it's not. He's averaged 3.9 per carry in his career, and Jamal Williams has averaged 4.0 in his career.
But to me, it's take that guy and put him behind this offensive line, and let's roll. Let's roll. 248-539-9797. Wasn't the only thing they did. They brought back John Kaminsky, which, I was way in favor of that. A little surprised at how much money he got, but I'm not mad at him. He said he was going to go on the open market and see what he could get, and the Lions get him 2 years, $8.5 million. And then the very intriguing signing of cornerback Emmanuel Mosley from San Francisco gets 1 year and $6 million. He's coming off an ACL MCL injury, and he gets a prove-it deal. He also was a guy that seemed to be coming into his own. This is a risky signing, and yet you can see why they were interested in it, because if this guy stays healthy, he could be a steal. Prove-it year guys can be that, and he's expected to be fully healthy by the time the season starts. So we shall see.